Well, it's about that time of year again. The leaves are turning, the air is getting colder, and spookiness is in the air. That can only mean one thing on this channel. Scary logos. But I've already covered scary film and TV logos, home entertainment logos, scary home entertainment bumpers, and video game and OS startups. So what more could be there to cover?
Maybe I could take a crack at it?
Whoa, jeez, dude, you startled me. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have Patrick, better known around here as Apple Boy.
Thanks for having me on for the Halloween special this year, Eric. I'm really pumped to take a look at some logos, startups, and bumpers that startled me when I was younger.
No problem. And hey, isn't this your first time doing a top 10 list?
Oh yeah, it is. Viewers, please forgive me if I don't do the top 10 list quite correctly, as Eric reminded me. It is my first time doing this after all.
Indeed. With all that out of the way, let's get on with the countdown.
Spiffy!
The voice was rather off-putting to me when I was younger, as well as how the face on the logo winked at you. Ugh. These days, though, it's one of my favorite silly logos, especially when it comes to children's entertainment.
Yeah, I agree that it's more silly than scary. In fact, this was one of my favorite logos when I was a kid because of how silly it is. I'd say this is a pretty good, tame logo to start off the list.
Now we're getting into the spookies. Now, the thing that scared me most about this bumper is the general horror theme based off of the movie The Fly, and the absolute fly jump scare at the end. I hate it when that happens.
Oh man, The Fly is absolutely a horrifying movie, and any bumper that's based on it is horrifying as well. Now we're getting into the real spooky stuff.
Asymmetrical.
Man, I don't know, this logo just ain't it. See, the thing that gets me about this logo is the creepy voice saying the name of the company. Just doesn't feel right to me, you know?
I can see why this logo scares people, but it personally doesn't bother me much. Though it doesn't help that this one kind of reminds me of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Ah, yes, the THX Deep Note. What a classic. See, the sound combined with the graphics definitely added to this logo's creep factor. Thankfully, I'm not alone in being scared of this one, as I've seen many social media posts from people who were scared of this logo when they were younger as well. I feel so vindicated.
Yeah, there were times when I was scared of this one too. That intense sound would be enough to frighten anyone, especially with the volume up at max. If I had thought of it, I would have definitely put this logo on my original Halloween special back in 2019.
What?
Yeah. Sorry, Eric. This logo was just pure jump scare material. A loud whoosh in the pitched up Walt Disney Home Video 2001 fanfare contributing to this logo's creep factor.
O quê? Por que você faz isso? I suppose I can see where you're coming from. To be honest, a logo like that probably would have scared me when I was a kid too. But if you were going to choose one of my logos, I would have expected you to choose one of my Halloween ones. There are lots of people who commented on my previous Halloween specials saying the opening logo scared them more than the logos on the actual list.
Some old Flash games, absolutely none of them out off of actual Newgrounds, all of them sourced from elsewhere, like, what was it, dandare.com? Absolutely classic. Had this version of the Newgrounds loading screen, and the way that Tankman, the Newgrounds mascot here, pointed his tank towards the viewer as if he was gonna shoot, scared the absolute crap out of a younger me that didn't understand that, of course, he wasn't real.
Aw man, this one takes me back to when my sister-in-law showed me the series Blockhead from Newgrounds.
Newgrounds! They wrote some stuff under the tank.
Seriously though, I can see why this one would be unnerving. I wouldn't want Tankman to shoot at me either.
Now, this is gonna be the coldest of the cold in terms of cold takes, but I'm scared of the PS2 startup sound. Or, I was. The terrifying electronic screech that this system calls its own contributes to the creep factor, alongside the visuals, which I know these days is just the save data off the memory card, but it looks like a mid to late 80s CGI demo. I don't know, I've never seen anyone talk about it.
Again, there were other logos from this line that scared me far more. The original PS1 intro, for instance, scared me greatly as a kid for reasons that I explained in last year's Halloween special. As for the PS2 startup, it doesn't scare me. Not even the much maligned red screen of death scares me much. And by the way, if you don't like the regular PS2 intro, you'll really hate the RSOD.
Oof. The eerie music, the man with a valve in the back of his head, and in earlier versions, the man with a valve in his eye. Ugh. Makes this logo pretty damn eerie if I've got anything to say about it. How about you, Eric? Any thoughts?
Oh yeah, this one is definitely terrifying. There's even a variant where the head starts turning to look at you. I dreaded starting a Portal as a kid because of this logo.
No. Ugh. Terrible. Horrible, even. I hate it. Alright, so the overbearing music and the bizarre visuals make this logo scary for me, especially younger me, who didn't understand why this was playing after my DVD copy of Green Eggs and Ham and other favorites.
I remember seeing this on our HBO releases growing up, but it didn't really scare me. In fact, I found it somewhat pleasant. I guess I can see where you're coming from, though.
Do I actually need to explain why this was scary? To a young child who actually grew up with Mac? The sound is absolutely terrifying. I know of quite a few people who got the crap scared out of them by watching this startup. Myself included. I literally ran out of the room every time my mom booted up the computer. Ugh, absolute torture.
I didn't grow up with macOS. My dad was very staunchly anti-Apple. But I did occasionally hear the Mac OS startup elsewhere, and it was a little unsettling to me. The idea of a startup just abruptly appearing out of nowhere probably would have terrified me too if I grew up with Macs. Thankfully, Windows XP and Windows 7 had much more pleasant startup sounds.
Now, you see, this logo definitely would have made the list if I grew up with it, but this is one of the newer logos I've seen. Only haven't seen it and known about it this year while watching a Baby Huey VHS tape. I tell you find weird shit at flea markets.
Oof. Yeah, this one definitely would have terrified me as a kid too. The jarring visuals and the 3G home video-esque whoosh would scare anyone. I really think you should have put this one on the main list, but that's just me.
You know, this logo is certainly eerie, I'll give it that, but in my opinion, it simply isn't scary enough to make the list. Plus, Epic Mickey was one of my very first non-browser-based video games, so I've been seeing this logo for years upon years, and its eeriness has certainly diminished over time.
The Epic Mickey version of this logo doesn't seem so scary to me. The earlier Disney Interactive logos, though, those are definitely unsettling, with their 1980s home video-esque music and sounds. But you know what's the most unsettling of all? The Walt Disney Home Video flashbang bumpers for Disney Interactive.
Coming soon from Disney Interactive. Now available from Disney Interactive.
This made Eric's number 1 for the 2020 Halloween special, and I feel like it'd be a cop-out for this to make the actual list.
Get it away. Get it away from me.
And there you have it, viewers. My personal top 10 scary logos, bumpers, and startups. Thanks again for inviting me on, Eric.
Anytime, Patrick. So, what are you gonna do now?
I think I'll ride off into the sunset, probably retire to the countryside and write another video, I don't know.
Sounds good to me. Let me know in the comments, what did you think of Apple Boy's choices? Have any of them spooked you this year? Anyway, that's it for this year's Halloween special. Happy Halloween, and thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned.